Welcome to our interview series for the conference Unsettled Europe, Refugees, States and Politics in Southeast Europe. Let me welcome Ibrahim Efe from Kilis University.
Thank you very much.
And Aladin Paksoy from Anadolu University, both coming from Turkey, here to grant. You both just presented your paper, which you presented the results of a large-scale study that you did together on representations and narratives of refugees in Turkish media. And I would like Aladin, to ask you first to give us a little bit of an idea of the scope of the study, its methodological corner points, and sort of the way that it was conducted.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is actually a study, just one section of a big, wider study, because it's funded by TÜBİTAK, a Turkish funding body for academic research projects. And today we presented only the first actual findings of our big project. Our topic is about Syrian refugees or asylum seekers now living in Turkey, and how the media, Turkish media, the printed media, represent this issue. So we are mainly interested in this topic. And our research sample covers 5 newspapers. These are the nationwide newspapers from Turkey. And we chose the most circulated newspapers. They are very powerful newspapers, and they make the agenda. They have the power to change the political agenda and also the national agenda as well. So that's why we chose the top, most circulated newspapers published in Turkey. And the time span we were interested in were actually 5 years, starting from 2011, which was actually the start of the crisis in Syria, and it was until 2015 where we started our project, collecting the data and then starting the analysis. So we looked at 5 years, and after looking at the data, the whole data, we have found enormous numbers of news items. We found more than 2,000 actually news items in 5 years published in these 5 newspapers. So we decided to make first a content analysis, a quantitative content analysis, to show the big picture of what we have found from the whole data. But of course, it was not possible to apply the same number of news items for qualitative analysis, for the critical discourse analysis. That's why, first of all, we looked at the results from the quantitative content analysis, and then we started making our second level of analysis, which is critical discourse analysis. And about this analysis or approach, actually we used the approach of the Vienna School. And it's quite interesting, just by accident, and we internationally first time presented our work in Austria, because the discourse historical approach within the studies of critical discourse analysis actually was created by Ruth Wodak and his colleagues. Her colleagues, sorry. She's now working at the University of Lancaster, but I think she had some period in the past in Vienna. So this is called the Vienna School. This kind of school in critical discourse analysis is called the Vienna School. So we made use of her approach, and it was very useful because she and her colleagues propose 5 discursive strategies, and we used these 5 discursive strategies to find out the hidden discourses inside the news text, and it was quite useful.
Okay. Well, that brings me basically to the second question to Ibrahim, whether you can elaborate a little bit on your findings and actually the narratives that you found in this very large data set that you analyzed.
First of all, I would like to thank you and to the organizers for making this very timely and critical conference or workshop, I would say, possible. And as Aladin has recapped the general methodological part of our project, we are using a very multidimensional methodology to understand this very complex issue, and we believe that this project might help both Turkey and the European countries in the sense of understanding the problem of refugee and the related problems, the crisis. Just before beginning, I would also like to thank our funding body, TÜBİTAK, for making this project possible. And as for the general conclusions, that I might share with you right now covers some important aspects for Turkey and for the international public. From the beginning, we have tried to look at the general picture by applying a very specific content analysis, and we have found that, generally speaking, most of the Turkish coverage regarding Syrian refugees are positive, and some of them are neutral, and some are negative. But we haven't taken this at face level. We have tried to problematize it, and that's why we have chosen to use critical discourse analysis, because it also helps you to analyze what is not inside the text. So that's a good way to understand such a critical issue at a very critical time. So for the Turkish politics and the public, we have some interesting results. That, generally speaking, there's a confusion in the Turkish media about the use of the terms refugee and asylum seekers. Although Syrian refugees are legally not refugees in Turkey, they're usually called as refugees in the media. So in our study, we prefer to use the term asylum seeker, which more or less represents the real status of refugees. So starting from the wording, the Syrian refugees in Turkey are represented, or I would say misrepresented, and they are usually called as refugees, although they're not refugees in legal terms. And what I would say generally as a positive finding, that Turkish media is approaching the issue mostly from a humanitarian perspective, but also we don't take this at face value, and we problematize this and try to see how this is politically connected to the main political ideologies in Turkey. And what we have found is that the pro-government newspapers are more cooperative in this sense, and then they adopt more a humanitarian approach than a critical perspective. Whereas those critical newspapers are attacking the refugees themselves for the sake of criticizing the government. So in this scenario, refugees are double victims. They're both misrepresented at the wording level. Also, two main approaches to refugees are politically stigmatized. So this is a significant finding in our study, that there are not many refugee voices in the Turkish media. Refugees are usually talked about, and they are object of discussion. So we would like to contribute to this gap by revealing the absence of refugee voices in Turkish media. Also, as a similarity, we have found out that the metaphors, the sort of natural metaphors like refugee floods, the waves of refugees, are usually frequented in Turkish media, and this doesn't contribute to the betterment of the situation, and it is to the disadvantage of Syrian refugees. So in this sense, we have another common theme revolving around discourses on refugees, which argue that refugees are a burden on the Turkish economy, as well as they are the source of other problems like security, labor, and the rise of costs in rents and food prices. So that you can see this sort of similarity between Turkish media and the European media. And generally speaking, the discussions are politically stigmatized, and they don't give much space to the refugee voices. Although most of the news coverage about refugees are positive, again, this positive stance doesn't mean that it will help the refugees in the sense of improving their strategies. So, as researchers who believe in who believe in the necessity of taking a critical perspective on any social issue, we believe that the refugees should be given more voice, a more first-person voice in the media, and this crisis could help both European countries and Turkey to cooperate and find a solution a long-lasting solution on this very humanitarian crisis.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank both of you for sharing your research results. I hope it was a productive and inspiring conference for you here, and we hope to welcome you in Grants anytime soon.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
you as well. Thank you.